what would we say is the number one reason that keeps us apart from redemption, that creates the biggest distance from us and God? So in this week's Torah portion, Ekev, Rabbi Raphael wants to answer this question. As always, he starts with a verse from, so we're looking at the first verse of Ekev, Vaya Ekev Tishmu. In the event that you listen and do what you need to do, and Rashi and many other commentators are looking at the word Ekev. Right? Why use this word? Why not say Im Tishmun? What is Ekev? And Ekev is heel. The connotation that we don't that we're not as careful with the sort of smaller misconducts as the sort of the biggest stuff. And Rabbi Raphael is going in this direction, but he has a few more things to add. So he starts with King David, who says in Psalms 49, why should I be fearful in days of evil when the injunctions that I trod upon will surround me? Right? King David also uses the word akevai, ekev, and so Rabbi Raphael makes the connection. Interestingly, also Rabbi Yaakov Avichtzira expands upon this verse, but in a different matter. In any event, what does Rabbi Raphael tell us? Rabbi Raphael tells us, he starts off by saying, King David here in this verse wanted to teach us that man should be fearful of the little misconducts, of the little things, the things that we don't think matter so much. We should be anxious and fearful of those more than the big misconducts, the big transgressions. Why? He says because, firstly, you're always thinking about the big transgressions. You're thinking about, I'm not going to murder, I'm not going to steal. These are things that are sort of, we're not going to do. And even if, and even if someone falls and does something, because it's so serious, you immediately want to do tshuva. You immediately want to return or repent. But with the little things you don't, because sometimes they're not even in your mind, because they're part of the day-to-day actions. And Rabbi Raphael then says to us, there are many ways of understanding this word ekev and this idea of surrounding in the little things. It's not only that it's dangerous because we don't think about the little things, but he says we don't even think about the things that we say that might cause someone else to misbehave. When was the last time we thought of the words that came out of our mouths, even if it's a small thing, and whether then the effect of that will be that someone will go and do something that's wrong? So he says, this is the paranoia that we should be, thinking of. This is the fear. This is the danger. This is sort of constant state. And he says it's not for nothing, because these small acts of misconduct are the biggest barrier between us and God, and the reason why we are still in galut, why we're still being exiled. So that's just a little idea of Rabbi Raphael's on the Torah portion. I'll just add another cute thing that I found. As part of this Torah portion, we talk about the things that will happen if we do good and don't good. And when he talks about food, he just happens to add that the best dates that can be found in Morocco are in Tafilalt, which as it happens is an area where the Avuchtzera family come from. Anyway, thoughts on the Torah portion of Ekev and the little things that we don't always think about that create the biggest barrier between us and God. Shabbat Shalom.